Monday, week 3, January 2010. This is week 3, episode 3 of the second Monday Night Wars. The TNA Save 2010. And we have got Impact today. We're in Alabama, I believe. Yep, we are in Dothan, Alabama, in front of, hoping, just under 3,000 fans. If we look at last week's show, and that big angle of Mr. Anderson debuting, attacking Jeff Hardy and Sting. Although, let's say, whilst he was wrapping up some of his other dates for his other companies, he decided to break his ankle. So, Mr. Anderson is out for a while. We will find a way to deal with that on this show, let's say. But let's get into it, because this is TNA Impact. And we kick the show off backstage in Hogan and Bischoff's office. And Kevin Nash and Scott Hall come into the office and approach them. And they ask to be added to the TNA Tag Title No. 1 Contenders match. Which is going to be later on in the show, this semi-main event. And Hogan points out, hold on, didn't you guys lose in the main event last week? Why would I give you a shot at winning the title? Nash and Hall start playing the friends card. They were friends. We've known each other so long. Think of what we did together in WCW. We could do that again here. We could run this place. To which Hogan points out that he already runs this place. And that despite their friendship, there will be no nepotism in this new era of TNA. And that is basically me almost talking through the characters here. We are not going to fall into the same traps that real-life TNA did. We are not going to be pushing the alumni over our own talent, because that is just stupid. But yep, so Hall and Nash will not be getting a tag title shot. We move on to our next segment, which is another angle. This is the first angle in the ring. And Team 3D come to the ring and they issue a challenge to Eric Young. As Brother Ray beat him on Explosion 2 weeks ago. I can't remember if he actually pinned him or not. I've said that, but I can't remember if that's true. He wants a shot at the global title at Genesis. Eric Young comes to the ramp with Ranjin and Homicide either side of him. They're not in this segment, but they're there. And basically says, and accepts the challenge. It is going to be Eric Young versus Brother Ray at Genesis. And this card is starting to get stacked. Because there's going to be a lot more matches announced on this show. Which, boy, this is going to be big for a first show. Next segment. Jeff Hardy defeats Rhino in 18 minutes, just over, with the twist of fate. After Christopher Daniels distracts him. So Daniels is at ringside, comes through the crowd and distracts Jeff Hardy. Rhino almost gets a win off that, but in the end, Jeff Hardy does pick up the win. And then straight after the bell, Rhino and Daniels go straight for Hardy, beating him down, laying him out, and Mr. Anderson joins them. They start all three of them beating him down. Anderson using the mic stick, because I don't want him to get too physical with his ankle. Daniels and Rhino doing most of the heavy lifting. And Sting runs out for the save, but he also gets beaten down. And Eric Bischoff makes it official. It's going to be Sting and Jeff Hardy versus Christopher Daniels and Rhino at Genesis in a tag team match. Basically, we're prolonging Mr. Anderson in-ring debut. Let him just be promos. Let him be a manager for a little bit. Because I'm sure he'll be good at that. And then eventually make it a big deal when he finally gets into the ring. A 6-woman tag match. As Amy Dumas teams with the Knockouts Tag Team Champions, Taylor Wilde and Salita, to take on the Beautiful Peoples, Lacey Von Erich, Madison Rayne, and Velvet Sky. And it is the debuting Dumas who picks up the victory, pinning Lacey Von Erich with a moonsault. I think at this point in her career, Lita was still going strong, like being able to come back and do irregular matches in 2018, 2019. Last year, she did a singles match. So, like, 2010, we can give her a full run. We're paying her enough. She accepted the contract. Trish didn't. We did offer Trish a contract, but she went back to WWE. And I think she is having a run over there. Because the game almost seems to acknowledge that it makes no sense that these women were tossed away so early in their careers. That they had such short careers when they could have had such good ones. Well, they had amazing careers anyway. But they could have had that longevity as well. But Amy Dumas picks up the victory here, and she is celebrating when she is attacked from behind. And it's Angelina Love. Returning to TNA, returning to Impact, reuniting with Velvet Sky and Madison Rain as beautiful people. Lacey Von Erich's still going to be around, obviously, making it a 4-woman faction. But more importantly, continuing to give the beautiful people that numbers advantage, because they're the heels. They should be happy. A numbers advantage is a great strategy to work with, which was their big appeal in the day. They had that numbers advantage, and they were beautiful people. 62 rating though, good stuff. Desmond Wolfe comes out to the ring flanked by the British Invasion and warns the tag teams in tonight's semi-main event that they aren't fighting for victory. They're just fighting to be the biggest losers this Sunday. As for me, I'm also looking for a challenge this Sunday. So here, I have an open challenge. Anyone in the back, come out here and accept it. And this Sunday, I'll go one-on-one with anybody in the world. Because there is no greater spotlight than losing to Desmond Wolfe. And it's Rob Van Dam who makes his TNA debut a couple of months earlier than real life and signs for TNA and agrees he will be facing Desmond Wolfe at Genesis. 55 rating, good old stuff. We then get a tag team match as Hernandez and Matt Morgan, who apparently were a tag team in this era, I do not remember that, take on Akira Ranjin and Homicide, the Global Elite. And the tag team of Ranjin and Homicide pick up the win. Ranjin pins Matt Morgan with the reverse flow DDT, I assume? No, Death Valley Driver. Death Valley reverse flow and Death Valley Driver. Which... So... That's an interesting finisher. I'm trying to picture that in my mind. So he's got up on the shoulders. And then... puts them legs first and into almost like a spine buster, I guess, or a power slam. I can picture it, but I don't know how to describe it. Well, reverse thrown DVD would do it. But Ranjin was the weak link, but I think the story behind this is it's basically shown that Hernandez has found a new tag team partner, and it's not going great. Homicide has found a new tag team partner, and it's going pretty well. Started to tease that Hernandez might want to get back with Homicide. Which is why this was our storyline match. And Mike Tenay got a voice sort of attribute, which I assume is storyline. Storytelling. I don't know. Obviously they're holding back because it was a storyline. It's good to... All 4 guys had low momentum, so... gives a good boost to Ranjin and Homicide. And then we get... the tag team triple threat for a #1 contender spot. And it's a draw. The time limit expires 20 minutes. Generation Me draws with beer money and the Motor City Machine Guns in 20 minutes when the time limit expires. All 3 of them will be going to Genesis, and it's going to be a fatal 4-way dance elimination match. Shelley and Sabin both teased their upcoming heel turn. The Bucks have incredible chemistry together. I'm honestly surprised that all 3 of these teams don't have excellent chemistry. Because they do. But that's what the game's suggesting. So a 63 rating. it's a great tag team match, to be fair. Right call, though, not making this the main event. Because the actual main event gets a 77. As AJ Styles and Kurt Angle team up to take on Bobby Lashley and Samoa Joe. And AJ wins. Angle and Joe almost go off in their own brawl. But AJ Styles wins when Bobby Lashley intentionally just starts attacking him with a chair. Like, the referee's right in the view. Like, Bobby Lashley was dominating anyway, but he just starts attacking AJ with a chair. And Kurt and Joe start brawling to the back, and Lashley keeps wailing on AJ Styles with the chair, screaming at him, "I just wanted to hurt you tonight. I never cared about winning." Just lays him out of the chair. A brutal attack. And the show ends with him taking that chair, sitting on it almost over AJ's body, and lifting up the TNA World Heavyweight title. And that is the go-home shot for Genesis. What do we get overall? A 68. I don't know. I honestly can't remember our other ratings, if that's better or worse, but we're keeping increases our pop in all regions. I think our TV companies might be a little unhappy with us at the moment, so I'm very nervous about that, because if we lose those, we're already being smashed in these ratings. But we may lose our TV deals, but we're still gaining pop in every region we're being shown in, so I think the deals themselves are just outrageous. But let's go on to Explosion. And we start off Explosion almost on a bit of a sad note, really. Because if you think, Abyss vs. Raven, this is a match which could have main evented a pay-per-view back in like 2005, 2006. Did it? Main event a pay-per-view? I don't know, my knowledge of that era of TNA is a bit murky. But now it's the opening match on Explosion. But also, we did almost get the full crowd, 2,970 people in the Ameris Arena, 30 away from that sellout. Great progress were being made in the attendance numbers, which makes me think, despite what the ratings are saying, we are making good progress. But Abyss defeats Raven in 4 minutes 48 with a Black Hole Slam. I wanted this to be a wild brawl because it's Abyss versus Raven. This is as long as they could go with their stamina, which is terrifying for two great workers in their day. This is probably a lot past it for both of them. Second match features, ironically, 2 debuts who probably should have been... debuted on Impact itself. But I kind of just wanted to see how they get along in the ring. And it is Molly Greenwald, the former Molly Holly, because she's 32 at this point. Why would I not utilise her? And Candice Michelle, who as well is only recently left the WWE in real life, but also still very young. And they go up against the Blossom Twins because they're an easy little tag team for the women's to face. You're going to beat them 9 times out of 10, but it's a bit of fun. Embarrassing wrestling, that apparently. Oh. So Candice was really off her game. 39 rating, really off her game, which was also on a B show. We could be looking at the high 40s for Candice. Maybe the mid 40s for Molly Greenwald. But 33 is a good start. Candice Michelle's still inexperienced, though, which is more inexperienced than the Blossom, so we definitely need to be giving her a lot of reps against women who have been doing it for a while, like Molly Greenwald, so that's kind of their first storyline. Another match which hell in a different era of TNA could potentially have main evented, or in this is more of an era versus era match. But Black Machismo Jay Lethal defeats Scott Steiner with the lethal injection, not the combination, the injection. Gets a 59 rating, not too shabby. This is the first time I've used him, but yes, my assumption was correct. Scott is declining, therefore we are going to be using him as a jobber. And the main event, basically, we've got another week of Liger. in the kayfabe world, I'm basically saying, imagining I've got 3 weeks with Jushin Liger, and then at the end, then from February he goes back to Japan. I'll give him the time off so I don't accidentally use him. But yeah, for a couple of months, and then he'll come back down the line. Who knows what will happen? 47 rating though. He defeats Akira Lanjin with the Brainbuster. Great little junior heavyweight match. 47 is pretty good, and overall we get 50. So not too shabby explosion. But let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.